Good morning, Bears. It's a Thursday, Friday epic. That's right. Today in this video, I will guide you through everything you need to do for our Thursday lesson and our Friday super epic. Feel free to work ahead. I know some of you like to, Brian, and get things done. And then tomorrow on Zoom, you can relax and watch as the substitute teacher overviews and follows along for the ride. So feel free to play this full video today and or split it up into parts. I will pause at the end of the Thursday lesson. Let's try to get the Thursday work done today in class so that tomorrow you can focus on creating your super spider. It's going to be epic. You do have a substitute teacher today. If you're in Zoom, I do not know who that substitute teacher is. Make them feel comfortable. Make them feel at ease. You guys are all motivated learners, individual learners, self-motivated learners. So the substitute or covering teacher, as we like to call it, can be here just to observe. You can control the class. You guys can share out. You can share your screens. You can show your projects and get going on the activities that I have planned for you. Covering teacher, feel free to move into asynchronous time when you feel that is appropriate. Today's lesson will take most of the class period as synchronous. Most of this week we've maxed out our synchronous learning. So tomorrow on Friday, if you want to get on, let the kids show some of their work, share their screens, breakout rooms as you see fit, and get going on their asynchronous, wrapping up the week's activities. All right, let's get started. As usual, everything you need to know is in groups, the basics, this video link, and the Silk article link. Now remember, the Silk article link may or may not work. We never know when the Sims or the Silk articles are going to work. But just by watching this video, you can read along with the video, and you may also watch me create a super spider. And so you can use my super spider to do your Friday activity. Ideally, Sim and Silk article works, so you can go in there and get cited resources and also create your own super spider. Remember, you have to be logged in with Google. Remember, always take your time. Click, count to 5. Click. Sometimes it takes time to upload. All right, let's take a look here. Thursday, Friday epic. The video lesson link below covers Thursday's in-class activities and Friday's asynchronous activity. Try to complete all Thursday's in-class activities in class so you can focus on Friday's create a super spider on Friday. Basics, Thursday in class. Follow along with the video of the slideshow. We'll be doing that shortly. Read the surprising spider link video. Read along on the video. You can read along. It's important to read along. That's how you develop your reading skills. So as we read along in this article, I want you to follow along on the screen. You can access that article with this link if you'd like to later to get your cited resources. Write a short summary, CER, of what you learned from the video. Now you can go to the article using the link below, but you must sign in. Use evidence from the article in your CER if you can. We all know how to do that, right? Make a claim. This article is about. Find some evidence that supports why it's about this. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. And then put that into your CER and then give some reasoning and then wrap up your CER in a FIST essay. Make that top slide. Now, if the link doesn't work, you can just pause the video and either copy from this video that you can see it or paraphrase. Just put it in your own words. Now, Friday's epic. This is tomorrow. You're going to create a super spider activity. Now, you're going to play with the sim, if it works, and create the coolest super spider imaginable by playing with the traits. You'll see that in a minute. Once you have your super spider, screenshot it, put image in top slide, and write a CER describing why you have the coolest super spider ever. This is kind of a descriptive essay. You're going to describe your spider. What about the silk makes it good? What about the venom? So this is a fun CER. Get creative. And so remember, this can be tomorrow's activity, or if you have time, you can get it done today. In the CER, describe the traits you modified to make it super. You can use more images if you would like and add slides as needed. Make it fun. Screenshot it. Remember, if the sim doesn't work, you can screenshot mine. If SIM does not work, just describe Mr. Down's super spider that he creates in video. You can screenshot video. You can screenshot my video, like I just said. Stop and start as needed. I'm just reading it to show you that all of your information is here. Remember, you may have to log in with another account if my video lesson is restricted. We all know how YouTube works. Have fun, and I'll see you all on Tuesday. All right, let's get started. So first things first, in our Thursday lesson, let's get tied in to Spider-Man. Dun, dun, dun.
Spider-Man has some pretty sweet abilities, but let's take a scientific look to see how well this superhero stacks up to reality. For Spider-Man to become genetically modified, the spider that bit him would have to release a retrovirus into his body. Retroviruses carry genetic information which gets inserted into the DNA of cells. The cell then reads the new DNA to create specific functions and proteins for that cell. But this retrovirus would have to make its way to nearly every cell and have the ability to code for new and different functions in each cell. So while it's theoretically possible, it would also be pretty amazing. Silk. It's actually proportionately stronger and more flexible than steel. Spiderwebs 1/10 the size of a piece of hair are able to catch insects flying upwards of 15 miles an hour. And believe it or not, if a web were an inch thick in diameter, it could actually stop a fighter jet. Strength. Some spiders can lift up to 50 times their body weight. This muscle strength is directly related to size. Think about your bicep. When you work out, it increases in height and width, but not length. In this way, the strength of an organism increases as a square, or by 2 on the scale factor. But as organisms get bigger, their volume increases in height, width, and length as a cube, or by 3 on the scale factor. This creates a ratio of 2 to 3, meaning the bigger the organism, the smaller its proportional strength. But because Spider-Man is human-shaped and sized, the retrovirus would have to encode for the creation of more actin and myosin proteins. These proteins affect the contraction abilities of muscles, and in effect could make a human stronger. Climbing walls? Not a problem for spiders. They have tiny hairs on each leg, and these hairs have tons of even smaller hairs with triangular ends, which interact with the nanometers of the atoms on the surface. This creates electrostatic forces, allowing them to stick with a strength of 170 times their own weight. To capture this ability, Spider-Man would need permanently hairy hands and feet, which may not overly impress his damsels in distress. And finally, what about the Spidey sense? Well, spider hairs are extremely sensitive to vibration and air pressure changes, but this means that Spider-Man could only perceive things that are near him and not events at a distance. Got a burning question you want answered? Ask it in the comments.
Epic. So, we like to play around with historic and science fiction in this class, so we can come up with our own little schemes, but I wanted to just get that as a little prelude to get us excited about studying the different silks for different functions. So this article, like I said, is linked there, but for right now, try to read along with the video. It definitely helps when you read along. Remember, we're going to write a CER based on this, and we'll open up somebody's slideshow, Xamara's. We'll take a look at her work, and we will create a top slide CER based on this article. We're going to keep it simple since there is a covering teacher, and we're just going to make our claim as, what is this article about? Well, let's start with the title, Different Silks, Different Functions. Let's get started.
Chapter 1. Different silks for different functions. Deep inside the body of a spider, specialized cells produce protein molecules that are much longer than ordinary protein molecules. These long protein molecules connect to form an amazing material, spider silk. Spiders use their silk to build strong webs, to trap bugs, to save themselves from falling, to wrap their eggs safely, and even to glide through the air. How can one material, spider silk, be used for so many different functions? Different uses for spider silk are possible because not all spider silk is the same. There are many variations or differences in spider silk. This is because there are different features of spider silk, such as strength, stickiness, stretchiness, and color. For each of these features, there are several possible traits. For example, for the feature of silk color, a spider might have the trait of making gray, white, or even golden-colored silk. Spiders have different traits for each feature because of differences in the protein molecules that make up the silk. The cells of different spiders make different kinds of protein molecules, and these molecules combine to make different kinds of silk. This means that the kind of protein molecules a spider makes for a feature determine its trait for that feature. The spider pictured above makes specific protein molecules for the silk color feature. These protein molecules result in golden-colored spider silk. To learn more about some amazing spider silks and the proteins that make them that way, read one or more of the chapters that follow. Chapter 2: Spider Silk for Gliding Through the Air. A tiny spider climbs to the tip of a leaf. It stands up high on its legs, tilts its body upward, and shoots out several threads of fine, wispy silk. The wind catches the silk, and it becomes a kind of sail, lifting the spider into the air. The spider glides away under its silk sail, traveling much faster than it could by crawling along the ground. The weight of the spider silk is a feature. Some spiders have the trait for a kind of lightweight silk called gossamer silk. Gossamer silk is extremely light and fine because of the protein molecules it is made of. These proteins make gossamer silk perfect for gliding. The light silk catches the air, but doesn't weigh the spider down. Chapter 3: Spider Silk for Spitting at Prey. A spitting spider prowls through the night, finding its way in the dark by feel. A small moth wanders into its path. The spider spits out a stream of sticky silk, waving it back and forth to cover its prey. The moth never had a chance. Silk stickiness is a feature. The spitting spider has the trait for extremely sticky spider silk. This silk is so sticky because of the protein molecules that make it up. The silk also contains another kind of protein, venom. The venom paralyzes insects, making them unable to move. Once its prey is paralyzed, the spitting spider moves in to feast.
That's pretty cool, pretty amazing. Now, anytime along here, if you want to stop covering teacher, or if you're on your own, you can stop, look at these pictures. Maybe even if you can, once again, if you can go to the article link, you can highlight things and click these things. You can't do that now because you're watching the video. But you could always pause, take a look at a sentence, and take a note in your top slide.
Chapter 4: Spider Silk for Living Underwater. Imagine an animal that needs air to breathe, but spends its whole life underwater. How could it possibly survive? Diving bell spiders manage to do it, with the help of spider silk. Diving bell spiders use their silk to build themselves tiny underwater homes. To make its home, a diving bell spider weaves a waterproof net of silk and attaches it to an underwater plant. Then the spider gathers bubbles of air from the surface. It carries the bubbles down to the silk net, filling the net with air. When it is finished, the diving bell spider has a small air-filled chamber surrounded by a net of silk. Because of the protein molecules it is made of, the silk net holds air in and keeps water out. Scientists have studied the air inside diving bell spiders' homes. They've discovered something surprising. Oxygen gas dissolved in the surrounding water comes in through the silk walls, giving the spiders extra oxygen to breathe. The silk net keeps water out, but lets oxygen in. That's very special silk, and it's all thanks to the proteins that make it up. Chapter 5: Spider Silk for Supersized Webs. You are boating down a river in Madagascar. You look up and see a spider web stretching from one side of the riverbank all the way across the river to the bank on the other side. This huge web is the work of a Darwin's bark spider. Darwin's bark spiders build some of the world's largest webs, as big as 82 feet across. To build such huge webs, Darwin's bark spiders need to produce very strong silk. The strength of spider silk is a feature. Darwin's bark spiders have the trait for extremely strong spider silk. Scientists only discovered these spiders recently, and they are studying the spider's silk to find out what makes it so strong. Because spider silk is almost entirely made of protein molecules, it may be something about the protein molecules that make Darwin's bark spider silk so strong.
That is epic cool. Unbelievable how many different things there are with spiders. I love it. Okay, so we're basic day. Thursday epic. We learned a lot about silk spiders. Remember, this link is in groups. If you're signed in, you should be able to come and reread this and find some quotes. So let's say here, if I was doing this, because I'm on the link, I can copy this. That's kind of fun. And notice it lets me copy it, take a note, highlight. I'm going to copy it. And then let's go on to Xiomara's slideshow. So remember, today, this is Thursday. You've read the article. We saw some Spider-Man. Our main goal today, it's in groups. Write a CER, top slide. Now, tomorrow, Friday, when we're going to get to this next, we will create our super spider, and that will become top slide. So let's go to Xiomara's and see what she's got going here. Xiomara's slideshow, she's made an adjustment. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing my Spider-Man shirt today. We know whose slideshow it is. We know we're dealing with spiders and superheroes and cool stuff. And she's got her week 1 lesson. Everybody should have modified their top slide. Remember, you can share this with the covering teacher. You guys know how to share your screen today if you have time. Top slide sentences. We have what we think we're going to learn in this unit. Now, Xiomara doesn't look like she started on Wednesday's lesson yet. Remember, just as a quick review, everybody should have this down here, this little activity. Click it, click shift, move them both to the top. I'm helping Xiomara. So everybody's slideshow should look more like this. Now these two spiders you can move, you can copy, you can paste, and then you're going to answer these questions. Remember, you can make this bigger. And you're basically doing similarities and differences of traits. So are they all the same? Why aren't they the same? Why do you think they're not the same? And you should know enough right now to write a little bit about that. Remember, this is yesterday's lesson. And then as I taught you guys, you should have made a new slide. You can pick any one you want. I like to get rid of these boxes, and I like to be creative. You can just answer the questions if you want. Remember, this is a review of yesterday, Wednesday. And you should have a bubble slideshow that shows differences, and you can get creative. Let's take a look here, and maybe we have, I don't think we do. Hold on a second. Hop over to Brian's slideshow. He's got his fun little title going on. And notice Brian has moved up the spiders, and he has the differences. So he wrote about a little essay about the differences of the spiders, and you can make that in with a graphic images, 2 circles. You can move the spiders into it, or you can write a little description like Brian did. Good job, Brian. Now, Brian obviously has bonus features, but everybody should have these 2 at this point. So assuming you have these 2 at this point, we can go back to Xiomara's now. We can create a new slide, which I already did, and this will be our CER slide. Now, I would recommend you can do your own boxes, however you wish to do it, and you want to create, if you need a text box, you just do one of these. And right now, what are we going to write? A CER on what is the main topic of the silk article. If you can get the article to open, cite 1 to 3 evidence from the article to support your claim from article, and then explain the article. Give some reasoning. That's the same as reasoning. And of course, wrap it up with a conclusion, the basic CER. If you don't forget how to write a CER, we have that slide to guide you through it. All right, so that's Thursday. Why don't we get started on that? I am now going to transition into Friday. But right now, if you're in the Thursday class or watching this video at home, go ahead and pause this video and let's get started. Now, you can work in Zoom If the covering teacher is available, they may help you with the writing of the CER. And if you can go into the link, try to go into the link. If you're doing this independently and watching this video, I would pause this video now. Get this assignment done first before we go into creation of a super spider. All right, I'm going to pause just for a second. Get started. Okay, we are back. Hopefully we see an essay here. If you're still in class on Thursday and you had time, you can share some of yours. You can share your articles. Maybe even do a breakout room if the covering teacher is up to that, and share what you think the article was mainly about. What was the main idea of the article? Now, remember, this little guide here helps you. So as an example, you might have said this article was about silk, and it was about the different uses of silk or the different spider traits of silk. And then you might have quoted from the article that some silks are made for strength, that some can be shot to capture prey, that some even have venom. Because of this evidence, I believe this article was mostly about the different uses or traits of spider silk. So a simple CER essay would be fine. All right, now let's get to the Friday epic. Now you can work on this today if you want. You probably won't have time. But Friday, here's what I want you to do. We're going to dive into the sim, and we're going to create a super spider. So once again, we need a top slide. I usually like to go with this one because it's basic. My super spider, coolest spider ever. Now this will be a CER, and your claim is you have the coolest spider ever. Now let's go dive into this sim, which is pretty fun. Check this out. I hope the sim works for you guys, but if not, just say why my spider, Mr. Downs' spider, is the coolest spider ever, and you can go along with my rationale. Much more fun to do this on your own. So I'll get you started here, and then I'm going to pause again, and I would go do this on your own and basically create a spider. Now check this out. Press a spider for more information. Drag two spiders together to reproduce. I don't know if I want to reproduce yet because I don't know anything about the spiders. Now, Anne looks kind of cool. By the way, you can give your own spider name. Anne looks pretty cool to me, and I'm going to check her. She has multiple silk gland cells. Let's do a protein trait example. This is kind of detailed stuff that if you're advanced, you can refer to this. Basically, when you're doing science fiction or a comic book or creating your superhero, which you're going to do later, you want to make it sound sciencey. It might be science fiction, but sciencey makes it sound more realistic. So you might say something about the silk flexibility proteins or the ducts, or the proteins move from the cells into a tube called the duct, and that will make your project stronger. Now, whenever you see these arrows, we can see different things. So look at these proteins moving through the duct. There are the cells. As you zoom out, zoom out, you can see silk proteins traveling through the duct. Then we see here, when the silk proteins reach the end of the duct, they connect to form a strand of silk. More connection between proteins will result in less flexible silk. Now remember, we learned about amino acids, eating food, how your food breaks down into amino acids, and we have proteins, and those proteins help our skin, help our muscles grow. We need proteins. So the spider is just specifically designed so they use those same proteins but to create this silk. And notice here's the silk there. So you can dive way into all of this. Very fun. Now when you want to get out of that, you can come back here. Now once again, let's take a look. Silk stickiness, trait, sticky. Flexibility, look, low. So it's not very flexible. This Anne doesn't have very flexible silk. Sticky, though, silk. What about her venom? Stuns, bristles, dense, size, small. Body color, colorless. Interesting. Stripe color, black. That's pretty cool. All right. You know what? I like Anne, just to be... Now, you guys, what you want to do is explore these different spiders and pick the two you like the best. So, Anne, I'm going to stick with Anne. Now, who is Anne going to hook up with and go on a date with? We have Greg, we have Otis, and we have Leo. I think it would be kind of cool. I don't know. I like blue because that's kind of like Spider-Man. So I'm going to take I'm going to check him and see what he's at. So his silk flexibility, high. Interesting. So hers was low. His is high. What about stickiness? Sticky. So probably going to be sticky. What about venom? Kills. Oh, baby. It's pretty tough. So we got kills and stuns. I like that. Sparse, not very hairy. I forgot about the other ones. Medium. So we're not going to get a huge spider here because one's medium, one's small. Body color brown. We like that. Stripe color blue. All right, now we'll talk about this in a minute. But first I'm going to get out of here. Now check this out. I went with Otis and I've got Ann. Otis, meet Ann. Bam. We now are going to see what kind of spider we can get. Now check this out. You don't have to understand all this yet. This is just the introduction. We're going to dive into this later, this T1, T3, and all that stuff. But these are the DNA parts that are going to be passed on. So look at this. Create reproductive cells. And bam, look at this. We are getting the different types of spiders. So Otis and Ann just create. Now look at this. Mutate. What? Oh, I just did a mutation. Now we're going to see what's going to happen. Randomly fertilize. So now we've scrambled them together. Offspring. Oh, here we go. So now we've got our spiders. This is pretty cool. Now take as much time with this as you want. Like I said, you don't have to get too much into T2, T3, but some of you probably already get it. But we are going to dive into this more over the next 3 weeks. This is just to kind of give you a taste. So look at our different spiders. I just created 1, 2, 3, 4 different spiders. Remember the last time we did something like this, 2 of them were the same. But in this case, it looks to me like we have 4. Oh, wait a minute. This spider and this spider look very similar, but how can we tell the difference? T2, TM, T2, T3. So these are different. Notice all male. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with that. And if you don't like that and you want a female, then you need to go back and you need to find another 2 spiders and you need to have them mate and you can play with it until you get a female. In this case, we only have a male. So let's see. I'm going to go with the one that's got a mutation. See that T, the red, that means mutation. And I'm going to click this guy and let's see. So now here is my spider. Once again, we can kind of get some quick ideas. We learned about this in metabolism, the nucleus. It has things going inside. It's creating things. We have the ribosomes putting things out. We have different things cruising around in the cell. Things are happening. Now, you can tweak with this if you want. I'm not going to do that now. But if you do tweak with this, guess what? You might change your stripe colors. But you have to describe that in your essay. So I'm going to keep it kind of basic. Now, I have silk flexibility, medium. Silk stickiness, sticky. Venom, stuns, so I didn't get kill. Bristle, not that hairy. Size, small. I kind of wanted a bigger spider, so if I really wanted to, I would go back, play with it again, and try to get a big spider. But for now, I'm going to just stick with this. Body color, I like it. That's a cool looking body color. Stripe color, I love it. Okay, you can use my spider, and you're going to describe what you did and do the best you can to use some scientific terms. But the biggest things you can do is come in here. Say, my spider is Frank, and Frank has medium silk flexibility. I like that because he can do everything with that. It's a little bit flexible, but it's a little bit strong. If it's not super flexible, then how is he going to wrap people up? If it's super strong but stiff, I don't like it. But if it's really, really flexible, it's not strong enough, and he can't capture people and swing from ropes. So I made it that way. And then you can go to your stickiness, and you can just kind of describe your spider. Now, everybody should know on a Mac, Shift Command 4, and you've got yourself a screenshot, and you can screenshot this whole thing, bam, and then we can pull that right into our slide image, upload from computer, and we should be able to have it under recents. We'll see, screenshot, there it is. And now I've got my screenshot, I have my screenshot, in my slide, and I can write my CER on why my super spider is the best, coolest spider ever. So you're going to write the CER, you're going to have your screenshot. All right, that's the Thursday, Friday epic. This is plenty to play with for 2 days, especially with a sub. Play with that sim. Dive into it. We're going to use this sim over the next 3 weeks, and you will learn all about what's going on in the cell. You'll learn about those different traits. You'll learn about why there was no females in those offspring. So we're going to dive more into this. So this is our intro. All right. So what's our review? End of the day, Thursday, you should have a summary on the article, Silk article. That should be done Thursday. Friday, you play with the sim. You create the coolest spider ever. If you can't get the sim to work, which would be sad, then you just use my sim video here and just describe it and write a CER about why this spider, Frank, is the coolest spiders ever. Thursday, Friday, epic. Feel free, covering teacher, to expand, do different things, have games, have fun, or let these kids go to work, because all of these kids are independently motivated learners. They know how to teach themselves. They know how to dive into research. They know how to search the internet. They know how to create slides. They know how to write CERs. They know everything. And so we're just here to facilitate them and allow them to use their learning strategies. All right, have a great Thursday and Friday, guys. Going to miss you guys. Sorry I couldn't be here for Thursday and Friday, but you're in great hands, or you're on your own. Get it done. We'll look at all of these super cool spiders. We'll read the CERs on Tuesday. Remember, no school Monday. So Tuesday, we'll look at these. You can share them out. We'll do our Friday song. So Tuesday will be kind of a fun wrap-up of this week before we dive into Judaism on Wednesday. Have a great weekend, everybody. You're awesome. You're a winner. Say it to yourself in the mirror. Makes you feel better. Bye.